I guess this is what I want you to do. You must always follow the county and fight for the boys in the blue. I will try for the boys in the blue. I will fight for the boys in the blue. And if anyone should ask me to surrender, we'll die for the boys in the blue.
Somebody in the way, battling, having got in way of the attempted clearance. Jim Gannon. Oh, great flick of Alan Armstrong. Oh, what a beauty! Oh, what a beauty!
It's against Bradford, but here's Warburton!
Yes!
Oh! And trying to manufacture the shot, gets it away, yeah!
Not got it clear. Please, sir! It's a cracker!
Armstrong played in the game and a superb goal.
Tony Diddy. Stockport County are the champions of League Two.
I've got a feeling we're going to be adding some more goals to that front introduction at some point. I've got a feeling.
At the end of this season, maybe?
Maybe. Good evening and welcome to the Scarpa War with me, Russ Johnson. I'm joined as ever by my compadre, Waggy. You okay, mate?
Hello. Yeah, I'm double top of the league.
Yeah, I saw that. What's that about, double top of the league?
We're top of the Northern Group A as well.
Oh, yes, of course. Of course.
You're
yes.
obviously the one that matters.
Yeah. How could I forget? Yeah, double top of the league hatters, loving that. Hello to everybody online who's joined us live. Thank you to everybody for doing that. All the usual names are there. I won't read them out. There's too many. And also, can I just say a massive thank you to all of our Patreon members, new and old. We've had loads of new ones recently, which is really, really good.
Why is that? Why the sudden increase?
Well, it's probably, I don't know, maybe certain player was on recently, which we might even play a clip of it later. You never know. But thank you so much. That it really does mean a lot. And also congratulations as well to Marlo David, who won the Champions Bucket Hat the other day on our monthly giveaway. So that's what you do get if you're a patron. You do get a monthly giveaway. You get all of our shows ad free. We've got the Courtyard Club call that now will be available at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning, ready for your Monday commute, where Jimmy and Dan go through all of the tactical analysis of the weekend's game. And then obviously got our Wednesday show, and then anything else we can bring you, like special guest appearances from current footballers. And we do have a list to go through, plus old footballers as well. So yes, good stuff. So yeah, if you are on Patreon as well, go back because you're new, go back and listen to the Matty Warburton interview as well, and the Sam Sheridan one, because they're both really, really good. Excellent stuff. Yeah. Shall we get our fan guest out? We have one waiting in the wings.
Why not?
Let's introduce our fan guest. That is Rowan.
Armstrong played in the game and a superb goal. And it's Connery who scored it.
Good evening, Rowan.
Hello, chaps. Nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
No worries, mate. Well, I did say to you off air, it's been a long time coming, really. I mean, you've been a long time listener, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, big fan of the show. Been listening quite a long time, watching. So yeah, pleased to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff. Now, yeah, before we get into your questions, your fan questions, I've got to say, you're a bit of a fitness beast, aren't you? Do you want to tell us about your running exploits and your Ironman exploits very briefly?
You've been reading my Twitter bio.
I'll follow you on Strava.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. So I was just telling you before I came on that a few years ago I did a bunch of marathons. I did 22 marathons in 22 days, and one of them started at Edgeley Park, and I was featured on the club's Twitter.
I was going to say, did you drive them? Did you drive?
Well, one of them was from Edgeley Park back to my house. I live in Ramsbottom in Bury, the other side of Manchester. I was holding a scarf outside the Tube End, and Mike Petch took a photograph, and everybody confused me for a new signing. So, yeah, I disappointed him. I was just on the ground to raise some money for charity.
What did you get him for a signing on fee?
To be fair, like I got a few donations off the back of it, which was great. I was doing it all for charity. I actually got a direct message off Ash Palmer when I was doing it, which was like completely like off his own back. Just sent me a Twitter message like saying it was impressive what I was doing. So I really appreciated like his support in particular, but everybody who supported me as well. So yeah, it was a bit of an adventure, really.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah,
That is no mean feat. It almost puts
I don't think I could do a marathon in 22 days.
Nice. Yeah. No mean feat. Good stuff. And how did you raise? Was that? I think that was for charity. Did you? How much did you raise?
Yeah. I raised. I think it was about 15 grand in the end for
Wow, nice.
the running charity, which is like a young person's like homeless charity. They've got a base in Manchester, base in London, and they use running to like to support people who are at risk of homelessness or who are homeless. So yeah, it was like a really cool charity to be associated with, and it got quite a bit of coverage by the end. I was on like ITV local news and stuff as well. So yeah, it was quite a cool little adventure. And the county one was a massive highlight though, because like the club were great in terms of supporting me with it, and like even just that, like taking a picture outside the front and that kind of stuff was ace. Yeah, it was really good.
Brilliant.
We are good at things like that, aren't we?
Yeah,
the club are good at things like that, aren't they? Stepping in for that. But, yeah,
they are. Excellent. Okay, let's move on to your questions then. So this is the fan guest intro. Who was your favourite player? No, sorry, what's your first game? First game first. If you can remember.
Yeah, well, I can kind of remember glimpses of it. It was 1994. I know I don't look old enough, but it was, funnily enough, somebody who was on a few months ago, I can't remember who it was now, but gave me an idea to do exactly the same. And I remember it being against Barnet at home in 1994, and that's kind of like as much as I could remember about it. So I went on eBay and found the programme from the game, It was New Year's Day, 1994. I've got the programme here, actually. Andy Priest is on the front, and it's like Steve Bellis is in it as like looking really, really young. But it's great, like flicking through it and reading all like what was going on at that time. It was a proper like throwback, like trip down memory lane kind of thing. So yeah, that was my first ever game, 1994.
Bloody hell, nice. It's always nice if you can remember your first game. And I'm jealous of people who can remember the first game.
Well, when you young, you was really young, wasn't you, when you were first game? Yeah. So I
was, but my lads obviously was really young when we took him, and it came up on my wife's Facebook memories that his first match was when he was something stupid like 9 months old when we played a friendly against Real Valladolid. I don't know if you remember that.
I do have vague memories of that. Yeah.
Oh, you might know he'd have been 12 months old or something like that. But anyway, it's not about me. It's about Rowan. And can I just say,
I think I might have been at that game. To be fair, I think I remember that game. Was it like a midweeker? Like
it was balmy evening midweek.
Yeah,
I was sat behind some United fans who were saying they were on the phone, and someone said, "You could say." He went, "It was Stockport playing." No, I think the Spanish champions or something. Like, no, we're not playing the Spanish champions. We're playing Valladolid. Was it Rayo Vallecano? I can't remember. Anyway, yes. Oh, can we just say Rowan's mum as well, who's watching live for the first time?
Hello, Mum.
Hi, Rowan's mum.
Hi, Rowan's mum.
So favorite goal.
So my favourite is probably when I was watching the intro there, like the Gleeson one was a massive like favourite until partly because I was watching it in a pub in Chester with my brother and one other county fan who we didn't know. And when that goal went in, the three of us just went mad in this pub. and that was pretty entertaining. But I think it's probably the Ash Palmer header against Bolton, just for like, it felt to me like that was like the start of the revival. It kind of felt like a bit of a turning point. I think it was like Challoner's like second game or third game or something. And
third game, I think
it just felt like quite a special moment in terms of like we were back or on the way to being back. I think it's quite an impressionable age for my little lad as well. He was there, like it was a school night, I think, but it was on BBC, wasn't it? But I thought it's the kind of game where it's going to be a brilliant atmosphere, and it was an ace atmosphere. I'm sure you're both there, but when that goal went in, like the roof came off, didn't it? And like I'm not a massive lover of the FA Cup, but like that was a special county moment for me. And I was thinking about the fact that it was one of those games where you weren't necessarily expecting to win, especially the way the game started. And I think that since then, it's been like almost like we're expecting to score. And there's very few times now when we score a goal when we're not expecting to score, if you know what I mean. So it's it was one of those where it was like culmination of like a lot of emotion being let out, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we've captured that in some audio that we play on transitions here as well. So definitely right up there. Favorite game that you've been to? Favorite game county game? That was one of the questions, wasn't it? I always forget my own questions now.
Probably that one. That was a really good one. I love the 5-0 thrashing against the Welsh. That was excellent. That was probably one of my other favourite goals. Was Barry's just like knife through butter, kind of just like tearing them apart. It was just excellent because I grew up near there as well. Like I'm actually from Shropshire originally.
Oh right.
Best mates season ticket holder at Wrexham. So. Just smashing them was amazing. For my mum, it was like she's surrounded by them. She still lives down that way, so she's surrounded by that lot, and giving them a hiding was just a fantastic thing.
Good stuff. Your mum Susan does say good evening, by the way. I don't know if you noticed.
We're basically having I think I'm speaking to my mum via this podcast is useful.
maybe you should give her a call afterwards.
Maybe
reaching out for something. She wants a bit of attention.
Finally, favourite player, although you can have a past and a present one. We do allow that.
I think probably Ben Hinchlif's my favourite, like current and I suppose he is current, but he's like feels like he's been here forever, doesn't it? So
past and present. It's almost
past and present. Partly because of what he's done, like he's just saved us a whole load of points. He's earned us a whole load of points, like some massive moments. But my little lad's a goalkeeper as well, so he's like hero to him. And just like been on this ride with us, hasn't he, over the last few years? So obviously club legend status already, but I think he's the answer to both of these questions.
Nice one. Yeah. Good, strong answers. Okay. As always, just chip in throughout the show. We're going to talk about everything county. We are going to talk about Mansfield. I've already gone through the agenda. I don't think I've ever. We're going to talk about.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, off air. I've done it about 3 times in my head, honestly. So we're going to talk about Mansfield. We're going to get stuck into that. Stuck into last night's 4-1 win away at Accrington Stanley in the Bristol Street Motors as well. We're going to talk about the September schedule, how many points we're going to get this September. Don't start commenting now. Wait until we put our nice new graphic up that we've got to show you. We will talk it through for the audio listeners. And then at the end, we've got getting rezzers. So, Waggy, you're going to have to think of one.
I've got one.
Oh, you've
Andy's
got
not
one.
going to like it.
Oh, is he not? Right, okay. So first things first then, let's move on to Mansfield on Saturday, 1-1 away. Obviously, we had the Courtyard Club call that Danny and Jim did, available at 6 a.m. on Monday. What did you think? 2 points dropped or a point gained?
Having not actually watched or listened to it, because I was out on Saturday getting drunk, unfortunately, I'd say it's a point gained. The record that we've got against them, they just Clough just seems to know how to play against us. By the sounds of everything that I've sort of read afterwards, it sounds as if they know how to break up our style of play. They just on the very edge, but just on the right side of the law with just niggly fouls here. Oh no.
We can still hear you here and there. You said niggly fouls. What about you, Rowan? 2 points dropped or 2-point game?
I don't really know still. Like, going in, I probably would have taken a point because of the recent history against them. I think there was moments where we probably could and should have won. Like, Tanto probably should have buried that one, like, last minute. I don't know if it, like, the highlights didn't necessarily show that where in the game that happened. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but it was like 89th minute. It could have been game over and probably would have been good for all 3 points. I've been trying to get Bevrier's effort in the first couple of minutes, like, to pause it to prove that it went in, because I was convinced that went over the line. I just couldn't get the pause on the ball over the line to prove it. But I think we have moments, didn't we, where we probably could have felt like we'd earned 3 points, but you probably at the end of the season you'll look back and maybe take that, I think.
Yeah, I thought that the goal line technology was all the way through the leagues with the watch and stuff. Yeah, is it only the Prem or is it Prem and Champ?
I wonder if it's a Championship now. So sure, someone will comment, but it might be. Yeah, it's definitely Prem, isn't it?
Yeah, but I thought that they rolled or they were rolling it out like across the leagues, but obviously not. As I say, it's very difficult to, as you said, trying to pause it just to see exactly where it is. Because again, there's no way that you can sort of play it in slow-mo or anything, is there? You know, I mean, you could do it with, like, if you could run it at half speed. You can
normally tell, can't you, by the players' reactions, like on the pitch. And a couple of them kind of did appeal. I think it was Collar and Wootton kind of appealed, but they weren't that vociferous with how they appealed. So you kind of think maybe it wasn't. I don't think Challoner mentioned it in his post-match either, but you know, he said he wasn't dissatisfied with a point. So I think they just know how to play against us. They threw a little surprise in, didn't they, by the sound of it, and didn't put the team out that we were expecting, partly because of Keeler Dunn leaving. But, you know, it's like, I think it's they'll probably give most teams in the division a decent game at their place. So, yeah, maybe it is a point gained.
Yeah, I mean, in the comments, I think most people are saying 2 points dropped. But then again, if you'd have said at the start of the season, after 4 games, we'd have 10 points, you'd have snapped their hand off. I thought it was interesting, Charlie saying that he always looks at the bigger picture, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? Without sort of pointing fingers. I like the way he said that there was two errors that led to the goal, and it's kind of testament to the players, really, that, you know, when you make 2 errors, it probably leads to a goal, to be fair. And they don't make many errors, do they? You know, Fev's lost it in the right back position or just inside right back. And then, I mean, Corey Adai, every goalkeeper will say that, and he'll say it himself probably, you've got to save that. You know, it's... But is he absolutely savable?
Is that an issue with having a 6'8" keeper trying to get down quickly? I don't really see that. Personally, I know there's a few people who have commented on it, but he's a goalkeeper. If he's 6'8" and he knows that he's going to be slow to the ground, then he must compensate for it somehow. You know,
he normally controls them, doesn't he? He normally takes a touch and controls them.
Yeah. No, I mean, as a former goalkeeping coach, I mean, you do. It's trade-offs, isn't it? If you're very, very tall, you know, physics says it's going to take you longer to get down, doesn't it? I don't think that was the issue with that, though. I thought it went through him. I thought looking from the, I think he got down fast enough, but the shot from behind the goal looked like it swerved slightly, and I wonder and then it bounced as well. I wonder if that's what got him. Was there
a bit of swaz on it?
Bit of swaz on it.
There's a swaz on it.
But you're right, it's like compounding 2 mistakes, isn't it? Like one might have got away with it, but all like that quick together. Like as soon as Fevrier gave it away there, I thought that could bite us. And then it did take another error, didn't it? But like you say, we don't make many, which I hadn't really thought of it like that. That like making a couple, we're caught out, highlights the fact that we don't really make that many errors, especially at the back.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's anything to worry about. And we did enough, I think, to win it. I mean, Camps and Alafi. Camps not so late on, but Alafi really late on had chances to win it in the second half, didn't they?
They didn't even show Camps's run, did they? On the shortened highlights that they have on Sky.
Really?
Yeah, like it was. He just kept going and kept going. Everyone backed off, and like I don't know. He would normally bury them. I think it was just the fact that he perhaps had a little bit too much time to think about it. But I think we probably did have enough chances really to bury him. I think Barry was a bit annoyed at being taken off, wasn't he? Because I think he probably felt he had a bit more to give.
Well, that was going to be another talking point, actually. Do you see that as a positive or a negative, Barry's reaction?
I think it's
positive. Yeah.
Yeah, he just wants to play, doesn't he? He's like dying to have an impact, and I think it will be seen by the manager as like he's just a player. I think he said it in last night's post-match, like everybody just wants to play football.
Yeah.
Like you can't really argue with someone being annoyed at being taken off when you're not winning the game. And especially a player like him, like I see it as a positive. I think he's just passionate and he just wants to get on.
Yeah, I think they're still managing his fitness and bringing him back, isn't he, from his injury? I think that's the way it seems to me, because it seems pretty not orchestrated, but it's almost pretty much a very, very similar time each time, isn't it? I think he's a little bit later that he's getting left on now, but I think they're still building that up to give him a full 90 minutes if required. But again, as you say, it's what's the player always thinks what's best for him, but maybe, as we've always said before, the data that's showing when he's doing his training and stuff is that he's not fully up to speed. So, take him off. And I think it's a good thing. If he's shown that he's annoyed, that means that he, as he said, he wants to play football. He wants to be out there. He wants to make a difference. He wants to score bangers again.
Yeah, I think right. Like it feels like a feature of the game now, doesn't it? Like give me 70 minutes, like full ball, like go for it give it everything you've got for 70 minutes, rather than playing a 90 at like slightly suboptimal. It's like give everything for 70 minutes. And like you say, maybe a little bit dictated by Villa still. Like they might still have like conditions on the loan and stuff, and not taking chances with him. But yeah, it just feels a little bit like a feature of the game, like these impact subs like coming on, and like it's not a bad position to be in, is it? Bringing on players like Tanto with bags of pace with 30 minutes to go. Like it must be terrifying facing up against that, mustn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Silomas says Barry's playing still playing about 70% for me. Testament to how good he is, and that he's still dangerous as he is. Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing with Barry as well. I mean, just as a counter argument for him coming off, we said it last week. Well, I mean, we'll probably say it again this season. He's a game changer. He's a match winner, isn't he? So if you do keep him on, he has got the capability and ability to get it to 2-1 and win that match. And then all of a sudden you've got 3 points. So there's another frustration, I think.
Yeah, but as you say, he's been taken off at a similar point of each game so far, hasn't he? And as you say, you've got someone normally like that. Fevs can come on. Diamond swaps over onto the left hand side. Fevs comes onto the right hand side with all his pace. Yeah, it's just like again, and bringing Tanto on through the middle. It must just scare defenders, because Wotton's been really, really good this season, and he's really like holding his own against the defenders, and he's really giving him a torrid time. So they think, it's all right if he's going off or whatever. But it's the physicality that Wotton gives them, and then to bring, as you say, those pacey direct players on. As you say, it's just you must just think, bollocks.
Did we only make one sub?
I was just about to say that. Yeah, Alafi came on, obviously for Barry. Yeah, just one sub. Yeah.
It's quite rare, isn't it?
Yeah, especially an interesting one, that. Yeah. Especially given all the injuries we've got and the bench we've had. Who did we have on the bench? Let's have a look. Hold the line, please, caller.
Bailey would have been on there, wouldn't he?
Well, we had Mapengu. Bailey was on the bench. Diamond was on the bench. Jack Stretton. Yeah, and Reece Watson. So you'd expect, wouldn't you? Definitely Bailey and Diamond to have made an appearance. Mapengu possibly because obviously he's an up and coming player. Stretton coming back from injury, I can understand why he was left on the bench. I think it's one of those. If we were winning by 3, Jack Stretton would have probably come on, wouldn't he? I would have thought. Yeah,
Diamond would have been a good check to bring on, though, wouldn't he? Like he looks scarily good when he's running at defences. And I think I saw a stat about him having completed the most dribbles in League One.
Yeah, right.
So he's he could have done something. I think I was surprised he didn't make an appearance.
What was that then? I
think he still got my thumb up, and thumbs up reaction happened, didn't it?
Is it? Never seen that before. Yeah. What's going on? Okay. Good stuff. Right. Anything more about the Mansfield match before we move on to last night? There's quite a lot to get through for last night, actually.
The only thing I was going to say about that was it felt weird the way they had the cameras at Mansfield. Like on that side, in the big stand, I can understand why it's like higher up or something, but pointing at the crap stand with nobody in it. And it felt like they've got their sponsor boards the wrong way around. Like they didn't have an electric one on the side where the cameras are facing, but they did on the side where the cameras aren't facing. Yeah, I just thought, bit amateur that, Mansfield. You need to sort that out.
I didn't notice that actually. That could have been your getting rezzers.
Yeah, well, Edgeley's not got the new electric boards, have they, down the side where the cameras aren't facing?
No, on the pop side. No, it's not on the pop side.
But it was the other way around at Mansfield. It just felt a bit backwards to me. But
that's weird.
Yeah, and I like the guy who was on last week from Mansfield. He was good value, wasn't he?
Clive's always good value. Yeah. That reminds me, I must send him a box of Curly Whirlies. On to Aki then, last night. Before the game, I mean, I don't know what everybody was expecting lineup-wise, but I certainly looked at that and thought, bloody hell, that's pretty good. I'd be disappointed if we don't win this, was my first impressions of the lineup. What was yours? What was your take on it?
Yeah, look at last season in this same competition. We were playing the kids, weren't we? I think Madden made a bit of a comeback, didn't he? After injury, and scored
against Salford, and scored.
It was mainly like the kids, wasn't it, in this competition? And maybe because we've not got a game for so long, and keeping them fresh and fit and giving some players some minutes. But what a terrifying midfield that is to face up against Norwood and Powell.
Yeah. Say it. It didn't surprise me in a way, because you sort of got the feeling listening to Charlie that we've got, as he said, the likes of Powell, Stretton, that were close to being back to fitness. They were back training and stuff, and Alafi's not really had many minutes because he's come back from injury, and so it just seemed that it was going to be definitely stronger than the Blackburn game, because we've got players that needed to play minutes. And I think it was quite interesting with his after-match, his post-match interview afterwards, saying that he could have rested Horsfall and Pye or one of them and brought one of the younger lads in, but he wanted to play Pye, Horsfall and Onyango together because that's potentially a back three that he wants to see going forward. So I think he thought it was a good opportunity to play them two. To play them two there and have the wing backs. So it was stronger than I thought, but I didn't think it was going to be as weak as we did against Blackburn. Certainly not.
No. I was thinking about this. It's kind of roles reverse, isn't it? You know, when we played Blackburn, they played a semi-strong side. We played kids. I think they played their kids, didn't they?
They made 9 changes from the Saturday's game because they've got Notts County on Saturday. So they were more concentrated on that. But also, I think listening to their manager's interview today, it sounded like they've had a few players that have been injured. So there was a few of them that they need. I think there was, again, 3 or 4 of their players that were coming back from injury. So he wanted to get some minutes into them as well. So, but 9 changes they made. So it was definitely a weakened side to what they normally start. Yeah. And we put it to bed. I know they took the lead early on, but then Stretton equalised with a goal that I've not seen yet.
because I was out. I only caught the second half.
Very good finish. Yeah, it just seemed like a massive relief for him, like the way he celebrated and just the manner of his goals. Like one was a tap in, but the other was a ridiculously good volley from the edge of the area.
Yeah, his technique and everything, as it just sort of looped down to money, and then it was almost like it was almost behind him, and it was like a follow through that he followed through with the ball. So the ball sort of landed just behind him, but he just went straight through it. It was really good technique.
Cross the keeper, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no chance for the keeper. Belting goal, and as you say, it's obviously doing a world of good for his confidence. And then I think Sam Byrne tweeted today that it was exactly 80 seconds from his first goal to him scoring his second goal, and I think 17 seconds from the kickoff.
The highlights that they show just show it from the kickoff, straight into this. Yeah, it was. It must be great feeling, like not only starting the game and playing some minutes, but like bagging a couple. It's going to do him the world of good, isn't it? Like he's obviously a born goal scorer, and we've just not got to see any of him really, have we? You know, like that goal against Salford in the semis that sent us to Wembley. Well, took us to penalties that sent us to Wembley. Like that's kind of the only thing he's done, really, isn't it? Of note, really, since we've had him back. And I thought he's class the first time we had him on loan. I was buzzing when we signed him, but it's not really fallen for him, has it? So fingers crossed, this is like a bit of a chance for him to work his way back in.
It is, but again, it was interesting to hear Dave Challoner talk. It sounds as if he wants him to go out on loan. Now, to me, he can only go to a National League side.
Yeah.
So because the league transfer window and loan window is shut at essence, isn't it? So if he's going on loan to a National League side, is he going to be good enough to play in League One or be in a League One squad? That's my only thing. I'm not sure whether, with his injuries and stuff, whether we've outgrown him and we've not been able to develop him to be with us or a League One player, because he's only got 1 year left on his contract, hasn't he?
Yeah,
so it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But again, you never know. If he said, and I think someone's just put saying, go to Altrincham. I think Altrincham would probably suit him. It's still fairly local. If he can go there and bag a hatful of goals and comes back in absolute top form, same as, it would be brilliant to see him back and pushing that. But I just think that the strikers that we've got, he's well down the pecking order, even fully fit. So I just don't see him. I don't see him staying at the club. I don't see him playing in League One for us unless we get desperate.
There might be a bit of a chance for him to play a part in this trophy and work his way back, and perhaps if we get a favourable lower ranked team in the FA Cup and stuff like that. And you never know, like he could. He's obviously got some quality there, hasn't he? He was at Derby, and I think he's like obviously got an eye for goal, like gets himself in the right positions. He obviously got decent technique and all that kind of thing. You don't get to the level he's at without being a quality player. And I think he deserves a chance. But like you say, it's a long road back when you've had back-to-back injuries, isn't it? And like you say, the way we've progressed and the players we've brought in, I thought had we brought in another attacker in the window, perhaps that might have been curtains for him. But yeah, I've got my fingers crossed for him. So what I liked about him when he signed, or just before he signed, was that I think he was coming as a fan, wasn't he? Because he enjoyed his time on loan so much before he signed for us. So it's what you want in the club, isn't it? Players who love it. And you sense that, like Barry obviously loves the club, and seems to be a bit of a feature more recently that we're creating an environment where players want to be there and fall in love with us a little bit. So yeah, he feels like one of those players who genuinely loves the club now. And it'd be great to see him do something and be given the chance to do it if that works.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the comments that are coming in as well, just to pick up on those, a couple of things. Ian Dowden, he's played 10 league games for Derby before we signed him. So in League One, I mean, not 10 league games, in League One. So I think they obviously had high hopes for him and thought he was capable at that level. So that's one thing to mention. And then Ryan Moore, don't forget he's only 22, so there's plenty of room for improvement there. So I think a loan might do him well. We've seen players go on loan. Ethan Pye is probably the best example, where they go on loan to National League, like Gay said, put in a stellar performance, while they're there, come back, and then all of a sudden they're ready for the league, whatever league you're in. You never know. Yeah. You never know. And to come back from a long-term injury, and I think Charlie said it, didn't he? 13 months out, best part of 13 months out, and to score 2 goals, score a brace on your back. I know it's not his first game back, because he's been back and got injured again, hasn't he? I think.
I think was he injured in pre-season or something? Maybe.
Like
he was unlucky, didn't it? Like he felt like he was back, and then like another niggly injury that saw him, like perhaps he wasn't quite ready for like the stresses and stuff. But obviously he shows a lot of mental strength, doesn't it, to work your way back again and again, like at such a young age. And I just hope he gets a bit of a chance. Like, I hope it falls for him, because he seems like a decent guy, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. Daniel Davies says, Blackburn friendly. It was the one he got injured. Yeah, Siloma says that as well. Cool. Yeah. More on the Aki match then. So players getting a run out as well. Players coming back from injury. Obviously, Stretton's one of those, but Jack Diamond coming back in. I think he got fans man of the match, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
And he just looked a nuisance, didn't he? From what I could tell.
He looked dangerous every time that he got the ball, didn't he? Because he just he had one thing on his mind, and that was to run at the defenders, and he just wanted to terrorize them.
I love that.
Absolutely. And he was, as you say, he was turning back almost to take him on again, because he'd not had enough. And I think and again, Challoner alluded to it. I think the only thing that's missing is a goal, but I think he's that close to getting a goal that once he scores, I think he'll score. I think he'll possibly get to double figures for us. I think once he gets,
he had a shot within about 2 minutes of the first game of the season, didn't he?
Yeah,
like he's hungry for it. Like, I think, like you say, I think the floodgates will open when he gets one. He does look ridiculously good, doesn't he? And got a mate who's a season ticket holder at Harrogate, and he was there for maybe a couple of loans, and he said he's their favourite ever player. Like, he's really yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he scored a bag full there as well, I think, didn't he? It's like he was a goal scorer there. So if we can get him firing as well, like, we've just got goals from all angles, haven't we?
Yeah.
No, it's good. Who else got a run out then yesterday?
Powell.
Powell, yes. You could say that Ollie Norwood as well. I know he played a lot against Bristol Rovers, and Mansfield, I think. But I think it feels like Ollie Norwood's just coming back to full match fitness, isn't he? It was nice to see Powell.
Norwood just looks. He just makes football look easy, doesn't he? Like, I've only seen little bits of last night, but one little highlight, like, in a tight space, just knocks it out wide and like into a load of space, and it's just But really good players like that, and I'd put Powell in that same bracket. They just they do things slowly because they know where to be on the pitch and find themselves space, and he's just unbelievably good, isn't he? Like, it just feels like a ridiculous time to be a Stockport County fan, doesn't it? These embarrassment of rich. Like, can you imagine a few years ago having those two, the quality of those two in the Bristol Street Motors game? But yeah, just I think he's just going to get better and better the more minutes he has, and the way he kind of like gets used to how we play. But he's obviously dictating things as well, isn't he? Like, he's pretty much captain on the pitch, isn't he?
Yeah.
With Bate not being there, but he's just obviously knows how to play the game, doesn't he? Yeah,
I think even with Bate there, I think he's got captain attributes, hasn't he? So he will act like a captain. I think, you can have loads of captains on the pitch, can't you? One has the armband, that kind of thing. So I think Nigel Clough said it in his post match as well, and the Aki manager did from last night. I've been watching a few post matches, as you can tell. They both said that when we can sign players like Ollie Norwood, who is effectively a Premier League midfielder, then that just puts it into perspective. Nigel Clough was really happy with their draw on Saturday, all things considered. And the Aki manager last night was basically saying, well, it's a good test for our lads. They've got players like Ollie Norwood. And it's just like, what is going on? 5 years ago, we were in National League and we just won National League North. It's just bonkers, isn't it? It's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, it is. It is absolute. Do we think that you can see Powell and Norwood both playing properly in the first team game? Not when, as you say, Norwood's still trying to find fitness. Powell's just coming back. Do you think the dynamic of them two together would be able to play in the centre of the park, or do we need someone a bit more like a Bate who's a bit more attacking than those two? Or
I don't think Bate is
question.
Is he?
How did they play together last night? I've not really seen anything. I've seen the 2-minute highlight package that they put on YouTube, but I didn't watch the game. I wasn't there. Didn't listen to it or anything. Did Daniel really get a sense of how they played together?
I think certainly the first half of last night, we looked like a team that had changed 6 players. There wasn't quite that same cohesion that we've had for the first 3 games. They looked a little bit disjointed. They didn't look as if they knew what each other were going to do. I mean, I'm talking about the whole team as well. And yeah, I think Powell just looked that little bit off than his first touch. He had a chance where it came to him around the 6-yard box, didn't he? He had a heavy touch where he could have should have just hit it. I think it was in the first half. So yeah, he looked just a little bit off it. But as you say, he's not played. That's his first game this season, isn't it? Including pre-season. So it will take a while. I mean, I think they can play together, because I think Norwood is more. He will sit back more, and that will give Powell sort of the freedom to get up towards the front of towards the top of the pitch, to be able to influence it from there as well. And I think they'll be on very much the same wavelength. It
doesn't feel like we've ever really played Powell as that attacking player, does it, so far? He scored goals everywhere else. I think he's really good in the air, isn't he, Nick Powell? Historically scores a lot of headers and stuff. So if you stick him on the end of a Ollie Norwood corner, you've got goals there again. And I don't know, they both seem to see the game about 2 or 3 seconds before everybody else, don't they? So
yeah,
combine that, you're 6 seconds out of everyone else, aren't you? But I don't know, maybe they will complement each other. They're obviously 2 ridiculously talented, very, very good footballers. I'm excited that it's a problem we've got. It's what a great situation to be in. Which one of our superstars, ex-Premier League standard player or still Premier League standard player in Norwood, shall we choose this week, kind of thing? It's it's not a bad problem, is it?
No, it's not. Not forgetting as well, his name's been mentioned in the comments quite a lot. Stu Hope, Camps. He says Camps and Norwood midfield with Powell off the bench. Camps has just been, I don't know, he just looks like I'm not going to say he stepped up, because he's played League One before, but it's funny because it's in League Two. I don't think he really stood out to me as if he was better than everybody else. He played. I think
it's the same with a few, isn't it? I think Ibu Toure, League One suits him a little bit better. League One suits him a little bit better. So maybe the same with Camps. He's used to that level, isn't he? He's played a lot of games at that level.
Yeah,
it's a different brand of football, isn't it? By a lot of I think it might have even been Camps said in one of his interviews, it's a bit less scrappy and physical at times, and you perhaps get a little bit more chance to play football. And obviously I think it was, I can't remember who it was who said it, maybe James Jennings or someone said that Camps is one of the most technically gifted players in the team.
Yeah.
Maybe it just suits him. He's playing brilliantly, isn't he? There's not any players really who haven't done a 7 out of 10 every game, isn't there? Really, I think this league suits us as a football club as well. Fits us, doesn't it? Fits us nicely at the moment, and everybody's performing. The style that they're playing and the personnel on the pitch, they're just doing the business, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah. With Camps, you could even see even against Blackburn when he came on. What was it, 15 to 20 minutes into the game? He made a difference. I know we were 3-0 down or whatever it was at that point, but he still came in and still made a difference when he came on the pitch against Blackburn. And as you say, he's been absolutely superb. And I think somebody's mentioned it in the comments, is that basically all the players from last season that are still here have all stepped up the game, and they all look like League One players, don't they? It's just been unbelievable.
Yeah,
I'd never have thought this before the beginning of the season.
No, but you're right about the Blackburn game. When Camps came on, it just all settled down, didn't it?
Yeah,
yeah, it's calming presence. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the September schedule. Before we do, if you haven't already, have a look out for the Will Collar interview. I'm going to play a little clip now. If you are a Patreon, this is in your feed now, ready to watch the full show. If you're not a Patreon, you've got 13 minutes of it on YouTube and on whatever podcast player you are listening to us on.
So following on from the goal, which would you say is your best performance in a county shirt? You can have more than one again if you need to.
There's been a few,
or is just every performance that good?
No, definitely not every performance. Probably, I mean, the one that sticks out is obviously the Cheltenham one, because obviously I scored a hat trick.
Oh God, yeah.
But that night, it was such a cold night as well. That night.
There we go. What a great interview that was. Really enjoyed that one. Did you, Waggy?
Well, what an absolutely top bloke. He was well up for it, wasn't he? He was really good for the money. As you say, he didn't shirk from any answers. Had a bit of a laugh at everything. So, yeah, I mean, it's worth £3.60 just to watch and listen to that.
Yeah, and you get to know whether he likes the north or the south, or he prefers gravy or beans, or Sunday roast with mum, or a takeaway with the lads. There you go. They're the cutting edge questions we ask on this show. So
he's the best thing Rusk ever did for this football club, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. We
talked about Rusk. We talked about Rusk as well. Yeah. So
we do. Right. Let's talk about the September schedule, not just from a footballing perspective, but also from a podcast perspective. Let's get that in as well. So we're going to talk about the games that we've got. How many points do we think we're going to amass, and what's going to happen in the EFL Trophy? And if all goes right with the old technology, I will share my screen. Here we go. You just chat amongst yourselves while I get this. While I get this up.
It works so smoothly. Appreciate.
I know. No.
How many clearly rallies did Will Collar?
At least it's not just me that screws up the buttons.
How many curly whirlies was he worth? Collar.
Oh God,
it's articulated lorry full.
Yeah. So there we go. There's the schedule. Obviously, we've already played Accrington Stanley.
Yeah, I predicted 4-1 win there.
Did you? I predicted 3-1 win as well. Yeah, when you got it on the nose, nice. Then we got a bit of a break. So Saturday was where we were meant to play Reading. I suppose that's a blessing in disguise now. Is it?
Yeah.
Are we agreed on that?
Yep. Absolutely. Hopefully we'll get Mellon back as well. He's due back shortly, isn't he? Again, listening to the way Chelly's been talking, so get him a good 10 days, maybe get him on the bench. But if not, he'll be in a much better. We're going to be in a much better place, aren't we, with all the players that we've got coming back?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a behind closed door friendly somewhere between like Monday and Tuesday. Depends if they get the weekend off, and I'm not going to get into those levels of granularity. But
Kelly did say they were getting the weekend off.
Oh right, okay.
He did say in his post match, he said they were training Thursday, Friday. They'll be off Saturday, Sunday, and then back in Monday preparing for Crawley. Right. So probably not I don't know. Maybe an in-house friendly, perhaps. Or maybe marathons. What do you reckon, Rowan? Are you reckon you'll get them doing marathons or Ironman? So what?
It's not a great not great for the spectating, is it? This month we were just having this conversation, weren't we, Ross? Before,
Yeah.
Last home game was Bristol Rovers, proper home game, and the next one's like 21st of September. It's like nearly a month between home league games.
Yeah, and it's the only home league game this month as well. So it's slim pickings, isn't it? Yeah, and then so let's take it one by one. Then Crawley. So Crawley have been. I don't say splashing the cash, but they've been getting the players in, haven't they? So they've obviously bolstered. They lost a load. They've got a boatload in. Obviously, Adai's going back to his old club. They've had a half decent start, I think.
Yeah, did they win the first 2 games? And I can't remember what I don't know what they've done since then, but I think they've won the first 2 games because they were up there with us, wasn't they?
Yes,
I think if I remember correctly.
We didn't beat them last season either, did we? I think it was 2 draws, 3 all at home, 1 all away.
Yeah, that's right.
My lad was mascot at that 3 all, which is why I remember it.
Yeah, so they've lost the last 2. Apparently, I can't see this the table thing because I'm sharing my screen, so I can't see the table. But yeah, so that's definitely winnable. Everton at home, I guess we're not too fussed about that. It is the Bristol Street Motors. We're probably going to get players having a run out on that.
Probably beat them 3-2, won't we? Last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Crawley currently sit 12th. Crawley.
Okay, so not too bad. Is the 3-2 in reference to Lewis losing 3-2 at home at Edgeley Park all those years ago?
They let in 3, didn't they, in the last few minutes of the game at the weekend?
Ah, right, okay.
I thought he was 87.
Yeah. I thought he was referencing John Ebrell then, back in the day, in the FA Cup.
That's too niche for me, that, Russ. Sorry.
Oh, I don't know. No, you remember we drew 2-2 away at Goodison in the FA Cup. Ian Halliwell, Alan Armstrong, got him back to Edgeley Park. 2-2. Armstrong scored late on, and then from the kickoff, literally, John Ebrell went up the other end and whacked one into the top left-hand corner. So yeah, maybe we can do that to them again.
Well, yeah, take whichever reference you want. That's what I meant, really. Yeah, that
game. Leyton Orient at home now. Unless things drastically change, they've had a stupidly bad start. So you've got to say that's potential. That's got to be sort of looking at that as a winnable game. I think
Shrewsbury turned them over at the weekend, and that's saying a lot. I think Shrewsbury are going to be down there, aren't they, this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Shrewsbury's only win of the season against Leyton Orient. So, yeah, you would. I think, yeah, definitely 3 points at home. I think that's the minimum we should be looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how many in the comments as well? How many points do you think we're going to get from this season? We're saying 6 so far, aren't we? Then Barnsley away. I would take a point now if you gave it me.
Is that right, Russ? Is it 7:45 kickoff? That is it on TV or something?
Yeah,
I think it's Saturday night, 7:45 kickoff. Yeah, that's what it says. I think. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I think. Are we on? Is it on Sky? Are we?
Yeah, I think it is on Sky.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. Well, yeah. Barnsley are currently on 7 points. Lost. Didn't they lose the opening day to Crawley? Was that? Did Crawley do them on the opening day?
I know Crawley won, didn't they?
It was Mansfield did him on the opening day at home.
Oh, was it Mansfield that did him? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've lost 1, won 2, drawn 1. So
yeah.
It's one that you look at, isn't it? Before the season, you think that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Like I do fancy this against most teams now. Like, but since the Blackpool game, like I know that like they're not having a good season generally, but I don't know. It just feels like we've got such quality and depth. Hopefully by then as well. Got to be looking at these, feeling fairly confident, or at least at least a point.
Yeah, I think at least a point. I think walk away from there with a point. I think that is a good result. Obviously, 3 weeks before the match.
Yeah, exactly. A lot can change.
Yeah. They might go on a winning run. We might go on a losing run. You never know, do you? Like it's too far out. But right at this moment in time, feel a bit invincible, don't we?
Yeah, I don't know. Mansfield has put Mansfield for me has put a bit of a crack in that window pane just now. But I know, I mean, for me, 7 points. If we came out of September with 7 points,
yeah, that's definitely a good haul. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see how it compares with like what teams who at least got in the playoffs where they were at 2 months into the season. Do you know what I mean? Like how many points are you kind of like
from last season?
That kind of start.
Yeah, that's a level of research we don't go down to, Rowan. You've been watching this long enough. Come on.
I'll do that.
Luke says the Barnsley game will be our first big test, he feels. Well, I thought that about the Blackpool game, to be honest, because they were in the playoffs last season. Oh, no, just missed out on the playoffs last season.
We passed that one with flying colours, didn't we, that first test?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a bit of disarray, aren't they? And they've now got Steve Bruce as the manager.
Yeah.
That feels like a strange one to me.
It stinks of Mark Hughes at Bradford to me, that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how that's going to go.
100%. 100%.
We'll see. Yeah.
So I think a few people have said 7 points. That's the general consensus. If we can do that, that would be brilliant. As you can see, though, as well, there will be a podcast every Monday and every Wednesday. I think there's even going to be one this Monday, if I'm right in saying. Bit of a catch up on the game so far.
A mini season review, I believe, that Jimmy and Dan are going to do. So,
yeah. Oh, hang on a minute. Someone's just throwing a spanner in the works. Nigel, 6446, which is some sort of locomotive reference, by the way, because I saw John, who does our blogs every Friday, said last week's show, hasn't Crawley been moved for Sky TV to Monday? I didn't think it had.
I didn't think it had either. I've not seen that, but that'd be typical, wouldn't it? We don't tend to play Crawley at weekends, do we?
Well, I think it was last season actually. I think I'm just thinking now, and then people are going in. It was on Sky Sport.
The county website still got it as Saturday, 3 p.m.
So there we go. Happy days. There we go. So that's the month coming up, and we'll do that every month. How about that? I'll create a graphic. I love creating graphics, me. It's like I've not got a job or a family or a life. Right, on to getting rezzers. I promise I will do a video for this. I've just not got around to it because I've been too busy doing monthly graphics. Rowan, you go first. What's your getting rezzers?
Yeah, I had a few that I said to you before. I'm not a massively moany person, so it's quite tricky, but I did come up with a few. But the one I've settled on is it feels like the phasing out generally of shithousery in football. At the weekend, there was Declan Rice's sending off, and there was that one in the Blackburn and Burnley game that felt like a bit of an overreaction to somebody asking for a card. It's like they're bringing in all these rules, which is phasing out. Football should be pantomime, shouldn't it? Like we like to hate players. I love it when somebody shithouses us. I love it when our players shithouse others. Shouldn't be punishing them for that kind of thing, I don't think. So, yeah, that's my little gripe that can get in the rezzers.
Yeah. Yeah, do you know what? I don't know. I mean, it can go in the rezzers, definitely. I think, Waggy, you'll probably agree it can go in the rezzers. The thing with the Blackburn one, though, I don't like it when they do the card gesture. So he got his second yellow for that, didn't he? For doing
he did. But I mean, both of those feel like such soft. Like, why are you booking players for things like that nowadays? It's like it just feels a bit over the top in my eyes, and it's like, where do we end with, like, what are we punishing next? Like, let them shithouse each other, let them like wind each other up. It's what we're there for. We want to be entertained, don't we? We don't want it to be like completely sanitized. And losing all the pantomime and the drama and the like. You want to be screaming at them for winding you up, don't you? Like, there's some great videos in there on non-league footballers. Like, it's a Dorking Town player where he's got it in the like outside of the corner crescent, and there's all these fans behind him like going mad because he's not got it in the crescent, and then they get him to move, and he moves it back, and he like it's what we live for, isn't it? That kind of thing. I love it when like
somebody did that. Somebody did that against a couple of seasons ago, was it? I can't remember who it was, but somebody.
It was Barnet. It was Russ last game. It was Barnet at home, and they everybody got the third goal from it, didn't they?
They did score the third goal from it. Yes, yeah.
But we like villains, though, don't we? Like, why are we trying to get rid of these moments that we talk about and that brings the talking points? Like, it feels like we're getting to the point where we're getting rid of all that kind of stuff. It just annoys me a little bit.
We've just got to keep it off field, like Madam turning up with a big ghetto blaster.
Yeah. I think Stars was a master, wasn't he? Like, if you watch Stars off the ball, like, he was brilliant at all that kind of stuff and just knew how to like keep his foot in off the ball, wind the other players up, and he lived for that, didn't he? I love that about him, and those are the bits that make football like properly entertaining for me, and I just don't like how it's being kind of like, I don't know, phased out of the game slowly, and I think it's a slippery slope when you start bringing in these things for like, they're not really bookable, are they? I know they made a point of saying if you do this, you're going to get booked, but let them do it. Like, it's not causing anybody any harm, is it? Kicking a ball away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the other one was going to be about XG, Russ, but I know you love XG. So.
I suppose you want to come back as well, don't you?
No, it can get in the rezzers. I'll tell you what, it can get in the rezzers, but the showing the card bit, I don't think that's shithousery. I think that's petulance, which is different. Shithousery, yes. Petulance, no. I think.
Okay,
if that's all right with you, we're shaking on that.
We'll shake on that and walk away. Yeah,
the thumbs up. Do it. I don't understand why we saw that before. Sure. What the hell was that? Okay, cool. Waggy. You next.
Well, I've changed my mind. I don't always say Andy. So for me, it's having one person commentating on the football. It just the Accrington game last night. It was one guy on his own commentating, and he struggled. He just seemed to me he really struggled. He'd ran out of things to say, I think, after about 20 minutes. And you just need, same as a podcast, you need somebody just to bounce off a bit, just to get that conversation going and talk about things. It just didn't, there was just nothing at all that excited me from any of the commentary from last night. There was no excitement in it. He was there just to talk and just to say, this player has passed to that player, and that player has passed to this player, and that's a free kick. Oh, and the only thing he didn't mention was that obviously that Ben Hinchliffe used to be a truck driver. I think that was the only one that he didn't mention. He must have had a list of things that he was going to say, but I think he used them all up in the first 20 minutes. So that can get in the rezzers, just having a single commentator, because it's crap.
I wish I'd heard that now. That sounds hilarious. I love cringeworthy stuff like that.
You did. It felt sorry for him. It was just, he's like, what have I got? I've got nothing left, and just nothing left to talk about. The only thing, he must have loved it because it was the Accrington player that came on, Trickleford. He loved it because he came on with I think with 10, 12 minutes to go. And he goes, "Oh, look, and there's Trickleford getting tricky on the edge of the area," and you could see it was made up that he got that commented. That was it.
Was it a local commentator?
It was Sky Sports. It was Sky Sports. It was not Sky Sports Plus, so it was a Sky Sports commentator. But
it's a tough dig, that though, isn't it? A Tuesday night in Accrington in the Bristol Street Motors. Not many people are putting their hand up for that one, are they?
No, but I think because of Sky Plus, because they're covering pretty much every single game, I think that's the only reason, as you say, You're not going to get two people putting their hands up for that.
No,
obviously not.
Definitely delving deep into the barrel for that, aren't they?
Yeah.
It does make me laugh when they're when they're clearly local and they're trying to be I'm gonna say balanced and agnostic, I guess, but they're clearly not. You can hear it. You can hear it under the with the in the back of the voice kind of thing. Yeah. My getting the rezzers then. I didn't think of one until you started talking, Waggy, to be honest, just now about yours. My getting the rezzers is, I think, just generally commentators. So whenever I have football on in the house, I put it on mute. I just can't be doing anything. I play some music and I just watch the football.
I can't watch it like that.
Really?
No, because you need to have that sort of interaction. That is, that if you do sort of look away or something, and then you can hear the commentator who gets excited because you know Diamond's running down the line, so it's like, oh, I need to pay attention.
Yeah. No, yeah, you get.
If I've not got the commentary on,
yeah,
and I'm just watching it and got music on, then I'm away doing something else and come back and it's 2-0.
Your attention's just gone, has it? He's like, just drift off into the room, not knowing where you are.
Look, bright light.
Like a moth to a
They
flame.
used to have that crowd noise option, didn't they? Like, if they got rid of that now, where you just, I don't know if it's a BBC red button thing, maybe during World Cups or whatever, but you used to just be able to switch it to crowd
just
noise.
the crowd.
You got like the reaction of what was going on without the annoyance of.
Yeah, like the old Andy Gray mute button.
Well, this is it. They're all the same, and there's one that over describes things, and Sam Matterface can get in the rezzers to a certain extent with some of the stuff he comes out with. I'm not sure I should be saying that.
Is he already in the rezzers?
I don't know. He might be because I'm not sure. He
Get
should
him out,
be.
chuck him back in again.
Well,
drag him out.
We'll dunk him, bring him out, and put him back in. No, I'm not sure he should be though, because we are part of the TalkSport fan network.
I think that's why he's come back out, because we're still part of the TalkSport now.
Right. Okay. Yes, we can come back in. I'll just dip his head in, and he can come back out. But yeah, just generally commentators thing for me. I mean, they sort of do me. And although I must admit, I do enjoy listening to Gary Neville and Carragher when they're on, especially on Sunday when Liverpool dicked United. It was so funny. But there we go.
Yeah, they do bounce off each other, don't they?
They do.
It is funny.
And as everybody knows, I am an ABU. Anyone but United, so I love it. I love it when they get beat. I don't care who they get beat by. I love it. Good stuff. That was getting rezzers. Right. I think we're just about done, boys. It's 9:10. Time for some toast in bed, probably, or whatever you're doing before you get.
Rowan's probably just going doing a 10K.
Yeah,
just 10K
before bed.
I was under it, to be fair, yeah. Nip out now. Yeah, talk now.
Yeah, cheers to everybody that's watching. If you are watching live, please do give us a like. If you're watching on the recording back on YouTube, please do give us a like and subscribe if you've not already done so. I've noticed that I've looked at the analytics. About 40% of people that watch us don't subscribe, and we get a lot of views. So please do consider hitting that subscribe button. If you fancy all of this ad-free in your inbox, and special guest episodes like Will Collar, like Matty Warburton, Sam Sheridan, we've got loads more lined up as well. Then please do consider purchasing our Patreon, £3 a month plus VAT. It's not even the price of a pint, and it'll go towards the running costs and just generally improving the podcast. So cheers, thank you, Rowan.
You can wait 8 months to get it for free.
Yeah, you can wait a long time to get it free. Also, in fact, there's another thing. You can do a season pass as well. I'm going to call it that, for about 30 quid, saves you 16%. Loads of people have done that, actually. So they're going to get it for a year for that. So please do consider it. Rowan, you had a good time, mate, on your debut?
Brilliant. Yeah. Thanks for having me, chaps. Really loved it.
Good.
No worries. Are you having a good time, Waggy?
Yes, I did. And thank you. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Nice. Thanks for asking. You don't normally ask.
All right. Anytime. Right, and that's been us. And yeah, we will see you next.
Thank you.